Hello and welcome to this video on pronominal suffixes. This is going to be a two-part video. In this part, we're going to look at what are pronominal suffixes and how we can attach them and translate them in prepositions. All right. Just a brief introduction on what pronominal suffixes are. Pronominal suffixes are shortened forms of personal pronouns. All right. They are shortened forms of personal pronouns. Shortened forms of personal pronouns. And if it is a suffix, it comes at the end of it attaches at the end, okay? End of the word. The suffix comes at the end of the word, all right? So remember, if you're going to attach them, they're going to be attached at the end. Now, remember, pronominal suffixes, it can be attached to almost anything. It can be attached to prepositions. It can be attached to particles. It can be attached to nouns. And it can be attached to verbs. All right. Now, when they are attached to prepositions, they serve as objects of the preposition. Please remember, object of preposition. They function as objects of preposition. So you'll translate it as an objective value. When it is attached to a particle, they express a variety of relationship. Now it depends on how the particle is functioning in that particular sentence. So we'll keep that aside for the time being. We will deal with it as and when we deal with particles. Okay. What about nouns? When they attach to nouns, they function as possessive. They function as possessive pronouns. Possessive, my, anything of possession, my, your, our, and all of that. When they are affixed to verbs, they function as direct objects of the verb. Direct objects of the verb. Please remember. So again, with verbs, we'll have to translate it like an objective translation. So in preposition, you'll have to translate it like an objective value. In noun, you'll have to translate it like a possessive value. All right. Please bear that in mind. In particles, it can be any of this. It depends on how it's functioning. And in verbs, it's a direct object of the verbs. We deal with verbs in the next semester, or rather now next module, and then we can go about learning that. But it's good to remember that they function as direct objects of the verb, and therefore it will take an objective value. Now, there are two types of pronominal suffixes that you need to remember. Two types. So we'll call them type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is what you're going to find in page Kelly 11.2. Okay. So if I may write it down, remember one thing, that they have person. Pronominal suffixes have person, gender, and number. So they can be a first person, second person, third person. They can be a masculine, feminine, or a common. Common is something that can go with both a masculine noun or a feminine noun. And they can have singular or they can have plural. All right. So let me just give you the first example. The first paradigm is this. Perhaps I'll write the whole paradigm and get back. Okay. So I've written the entire thing down. 3ms form is a Kolembav. It is the ending, and it's going to be translated as him in the objective value. As an objective value, you will translate it as him. Okay. If you're going to translate it as a possessive, it's going to be his. Okay. So let me just write that also. Now, 3fs is Kamit's he. With he, it's got a mapik in it. It's going to be translated as her, or even as in possessive, it's going to be her or its. All right. Remember, it can also function as an its. The 2ms is a final kaf with a patak, with a kamits, and it's translated as a you objectively. If it's possessive, it's yours, your. The 2fs is a final kaf with a silent sheva, translated objectively as you. Otherwise, it's translated possessively as your. 1cs is kirek yod ending, and it is translated as me objectively, or my if it is possessive. 3MP is hem, translated as them if it's objective, and their if it is possessive. 3FP is hin. Now that is them if it is objective, otherwise it is there. Kem is you if it's objective, or your if it is possessive. 2FP is ken, that is you if it's objective, others your if it is possessive. And 1CP is nu if it is us, that's objective, otherwise it is our as possessive. Now you'll notice the connecting vowel in many of the cases is the comets. Okay, it connects it to the comets, connects it to the whatever. I'm going to use a 3FP here. So the 3FP is a ken, so it'll appear like this, ken. This is the word, it connects, there's a connecting vowel of the comets, and then the entire ken comes into the picture. So depending on what is it attached to, you will translate it. So remember, prepositions, they will be functioning, they will be translated as an objective value and not possessive. Nouns will always be possessive. All right, so bear that in mind. Okay, with that, let us look at the first few examples of type 1. Or perhaps I can teach you what's type 2 also. Type 2, the difference in type 1 and type 2 is simple. The type 2 has a yod attached to it, and you will find type 2 in 11.11 in page Kelly. Alright, again remember, type 2, if I write it down, 3MS is his, 3FS is ha, her, 2MS is, the yod will always be there. Okay, again, the translation value will be the same depending on what is being attached to. All right. So what I'm trying to tell you is the form will look different. All right. The form, it can, so for example, prepositions can either take type 1 or type 2 pronominal suffix. It doesn't matter. You'll still translate it as an objective value as long as you know both the type 1 and the type 2 paradigms. All right. So let me just continue. 3MP is a hem, is there. Now here all the translations are, if you notice, they are not objective, they are possessive. His, her, your, my, their is all possessive values written out here, not the objective value. You can have the objective value also, and I will tell you the objective value when I read them out. 3FP is hen, 2MP is chem, 2FP is ken with the yod, and the 1CP is the nu with the yod, and sorry, it's not a patak, it is a sere. Now the connecting vowel in all these cases, in most of the cases, it's either going to be an sere or a segol. Sere or a segol. There are seres here and there are segols here also. There's only one kamitska at the beginning and a patak at the 1CS. You don't have to worry too much about that. You should be trying to recognize it because of the yod. The yod is the distinguishing feature. Each of them will have a yod. That's what makes it type 2. Now, 3MS is Ayav is translated here as his, which is a possessive value. It can also be, depending on what it's attached to, if it's attached to a preposition, it is an objective value. It will then be translated as him. 3FS is Eha, which is translated as her as possessive, but also as her objective. Then 2MS is Ekha, which is translated as your possessively and you as objective. Then ayik is 2fs, that is translated as your possessively and you objectively. I is translated as 1cs, which is my possessively and me objectively. 3mp is ahem, which is translated as their possessively and objectively it is them. A hen, it is translated, which is a 3mp, is translated as their possessively and them objectively. A chem is translated your possessively and you objectively. A ken is translated as your possessive and you objective. A nu is translated as our possessively and us as objectively. A nu is 1cp, as what I just read. Okay, so now any of these types can appear in prepositions. So there are some prepositions that will take type 1 and some prepositions which will take type 2. But before I even go to that, there are some variants of type 1. That means sometimes you have variant forms. Sometimes in the Hebrew Bible, type 1, five of them will appear with variant forms. Let me show you what they are. The 3ms is Kolembao. It will sometimes have an alternate form, that is the who. Alright, the 3fs is a Kametz He with a Mapik. It will sometimes appear as a ha. The 1cs is a Kirekyot. It will sometimes appear as ni. The 3mp is a hem. It will sometimes appear just like as a Kametz and a final mem. Kametz and a final mem. So I'm going to put an X here. Okay, and a 3fp is a hen. Remember, it's a hen. This is now I'm dealing with type 1. Okay, so I'm not going to expect any yods here. So Kametz and a final noun. All right, and X is any consonant. Okay, these are the alternate forms that can appear in type 1. Now, so let me go back to my prepositions. So pronominal suffixes can be attached to prepositions. When they are attached to prepositions, they will always be translated as an objective value. All right, they can either take type 1 or they can take type 2. So some prepositions will take type 1, some prepositions will take type 2. You just have to recognize what is the gender, what is the number, gender, and the singular and plural of it, so that you can translate it accurately. And you'll always translate it objectively. It does not matter. So it's not too challenging at all. So let me give you a few examples where it appears in type 1. Preposition with type 1. Is the word bo. So just a few examples. This is from page 88. So bo. So this is now the 3ms form and this is the preposition. So this is by, okay, or by or with. Maybe I should use what the book has used, that is the with. With. And what is 3ms when it is translated objectively? It is him. So the translation is with him. Let's see the next one. Ba. With the mapik. So you know this is a 3fs. This is now functioning. This is a with. When it's the 3fs, type 1, objective value, because it's a preposition, you're going to translate it as her. So it is with her. Likewise. Okay, I'll do another one. B. You know this is 1cs. This is the preposition with. This is translated objectively, which is translated me. So it is with me. Okay. So that's all you have to remember, that this is one kind of a type where it attached, and it's always objective. Another one is the lamed preposition. I'm going to add it with this is the 2ms of the type 1, and this is translated as 2. And how is this objectively translated? As ka is you, right? It's a second person masculine singular, so it is 2 you. All right. Okay. Or maybe another one. Lekha, lak, and here this is 2, and this is the 2fs, and you know that's also translated as you, so it is not to you. The good thing about is, in English, when I say you really don't know whether the antecedent is masculine or feminine. But here I will look at this and say, all right, this particular word is referring, lak is referring to a female antecedent, because it's whoever the speaker is saying is referring it to a female antecedent. That's pretty much very easy to remember. Let me give you another plural one, perhaps. Okay, let me look at plural one. Lahem. Now, what is hen? Hen is a 3FP. Lamed is 2, and this is translated objectively as them, so it is to them. To them. All right. So this is one of those examples which is going to be done that way. Okay. Let me show you another example which will take type 2. Remember, even if it's a preposition which takes type 2, it is going to be translated as a objective. Now, for this, you will have to see example 11.6 on page 90. Okay, so I have the word, or perhaps 11.691, maybe that one I'll look at. 91. So L is to and unto, and now this is type 2. This is a type 2 3ms. What is L? 2. This is still translated objectively. Doesn't matter what the form is, it's still translated him, and therefore you write to him. Let me look at another one. Elehem. Elehem. Now you know this entire unit is a type 2 3MP. This is a preposition, so preposition is to, and this is translated objectively, it is them. All right, do not translate possessively as theirs. It's not theirs. This is objective value, so it's to them. To them. Okay, right. So this is what you need to remember. Okay, that's it. That's it. We have a few irregular guys. Please remember, there are a few irregular guys, and let me show you what they are. The kaf preposition is highly irregular. The kaf, whenever it forms into a preposition, in the 3ms, in the 3fs, in the 2ms, in the 1cs, and the 1cp. In all these forms, and extended, the kaf preposition becomes the word kamo. Okay, it becomes this word kamo. All right, the kaf preposition, regular kaf preposition in 3ms, 3fs, 2ms, 1cs, 1cp, it becomes the word kamo. So when you have a word like kamo, okay, kamo. Now what is 3ms form? The 3ms form of, remember, this takes type 1, so the 3ms is colon, right? Now I cannot put another colon next to the kamo, because you see Hebrew will not allow that. So what it does is it has an alternate form. Remember I told you there's an alternate form who. There's an alternate form who, so that gets attached because this is ending with a vowel, so you need to put a consonant next to it and then you put a vowel, and then this is the 3ms pronominal suffix added to the irregular preposition ka. So it's kamo hu. Kamo hu is translated, kamo is like, who is 3ms like him, because it's objective, always remember that. All right, so that's why 3fs is kamo ha, which is again, let me show you kamo ha. Kamo, right? This is what I said, 3ms, 3fs, 2ms, 1cs, 1cp, they'll always begin with kamo, which is an extended form of the preposition irregular when it happens. Okay, so what happens is the 3fs regular. What is a regular 3fs? It's a kamat say with a mapik. Now I cannot have this is ending with a vowel. I cannot next start with a vowel again. So what I have to do is I have to use the alternate form. What is the alternate form in this? It is the word ha is the alternate form. So I can say kamo ha. Now in this instance, this is the alternate type 1 for the 3fs, and this is translated as, this is a pronominal suffix, it is functioning as an object of the preposition. So objective value kamo is like, so it's like her. All right, please remember this. All right, okay, then we have geminate prepositions. There are geminate prepositions. Now remember, in the geminate prepositions, they are words like et, which is with. Okay, so a word like et existed at one time. Why we call it geminate? Because the second and the third root will always be the same, the second and the third root. So when anything is attached, we've noticed that from behind, when you add a suffix, it exists now as et, but the lost tau is going to return as a dagesh forte. So that is why 3ms, et, I am going to add the 3ms. All right, so this is et is with, so this is going to be with, but hang on, the moment I attach something like a suffix behind, the lost tau will return as a dagesh forte. This is a dagesh forte. All right, so it becomes, of course there's going to be vocalic changes, itto. It is with, this is objective value always because it's a preposition with him. All right, likewise ittah is with her, itteka is with you, ittak is with you, itti is with me, ittam is with her, them, itkem or etkem is with you, ittanu is with us. All right, just keep a track of this particular word et, because it is very identical to the direct object marker et, and the difference only the context can appear. All right, just bear that in mind. Okay, another geminate one is the word im. Im is with. All right, im, this existed at one point in time as a geminate. So when you attach anything, this lost fellow is going to come back. So that's exactly what happens when I attach. Let me attach a 3fs. Okay, this is im. It's not a final mem. Sorry, it'll be immach. So this is a 3fs I've added to it. The moment I add to it, the lost guy will come back as a dagesh forte. The lost geminate, the third root is going to appear as a dagesh forte, as it's doubled kind of thing. So it's immake. What is im? Im is with. Now this is kamat's he with a mapik. It's a 3fs. This is a preposition. It can only be translated objectively, never possessively. So it is with her. All right, please remember that. And likewise, the other examples also in page 89. I'm looking at page 89 here. Immo. Immo is with him. You can notice the Dagesh photo which has come and it's attached to 3ms straight away. 2ms is Imeka. Then you have Imak. 1cs is the Immadi or Immi, with me. 3mp is Immahem. 2mp is Immakem. 1cp is Immanu. So the 1cp is very interesting for us. Immanu. Alright. Let me just write that down. Immanu, because that's where we get the word Immanuel, God with us. Okay. So the nu ending, remember the nu ending is a 1cp ending. It is objective, therefore it is translated us. The moment I attach something behind, the lost one will come back as a Dagesh forte. So it's imma. Im is with. With, this is a geminate preposition, is a preposition. You will translate not possessively, but as an objective, with us. Alright. If it was possessive, it would be our, but it's not being possessive, it is an objective, so it is with us. Okay. With us. And if you add L at the end of this word, Immanuel, it becomes God. Well, it's not the, it's a generic term for God. God with us. It's not the specific name of Adonai. All right, it's just a generic name El, which of course was the generic name for God. Okay. Yes, that's pretty much what I taught you. Please look at the examples and we will continue in our next session. Thank you.